Whoa, that's quite the opening shot. Okay. The Union Jack is front and center, but look at this. Oh, is this like miniatures? It looks like a miniature, yeah. Ah. Look at that.
My name is Amy Pond. When I was 7, I had an imaginary friend. Last night was the night before my wedding.
Come on, Pond. Living and laughing and shopping. Searching the stars for a new home.
Yeah.
We are observers only. That's the one rule I've always stuck to in all my travels. I never get involved in the affairs of other people's or people.
Oh, is that so?
That's interesting.
I don't think I could do that. Do you find that hard, being all like detached and cold? Doctor?
She's not gonna change? Ooh, that mask.
Sorry to interrupt. There's been a sighting.
Glasses of water?
Block, Oxford Street.
One little girl crying. So?
Crying silently.
She's trying not to get noticed.
Because they want attention, because they're hurt, or afraid when they cry silently is because they just can't stop. Oh, this fell out of her pocket when I accidentally bumped into her. Took me 4 goes. Ask her about those things. The smiling fellas in the booze, they're everywhere.
But they're just things.
Oh, no, 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 no.
What are you gonna do?
What I always do, stay out of trouble.
Cha.
Badly.
You never interfere in the affairs of other peoples or planets, unless there's children crying.
Yes.
You dropped this.
Yeah, when your friend kept bumping into me.
Took 4 tries.
You sound Scottish.
I am Scottish. What's wrong with that?
Look at that shot.
Here somewhere.
No.
Split diopter.
They wanted their own ship. Your boyfriend.
Oh,
What?
nothing. It's just.
Yeah, she just thought of
Funny how things slip your mind.
Married.
the inquisitive Amy Pond. It certainly has that 70s and 80s sci-fi type score, doesn't it?
There's a darkness at the heart of this nation. It threatens every one of us.
Huh.
Help us, Doctor. You're our only hope.
How do I find you again?
I'll find you.
I am Liz 10, and I will find you.
Liz 10.
Amelia Jessica Pond.
Jessica.
Age 1306.
Ooh, look at that background there.
And once every 5 years, everyone chooses to forget what they've learned. Democracy in action.
How do you not know about this?
You look human.
No, you look Time Lord.
So there are other Time Lords, yeah?
Oh,
No,
there might be one
there
more.
were, but there aren't just me now.
Oh. More Star Wars references.
That's all squidgy like a water bed.
But feeding what?
The beast below. Oh boy.
Right then! This isn't going to be big on dignity!
Oh boy.
Look who it is.
I'll find
You
you.
look a lot better without your mask.
You must be Amy. Liz. You're a bit hard to miss, love. Mysterious stranger. MO consistent with higher alien intelligence. Hair of an idiot.
Hey.
Been brought up on the stories. My whole family was.
Ah.
Old drinking buddy of Henry XII. Scones with Liz too. Vicky was a bit on the fence about you.
Liz too?
Knighted and exiled you on the same day. And so much for the Virgin Queen, you bad boy.
Ah.
Liz 10. Elizabeth the 10th. And down!
Ah. How cool.
I'm the bloody queen, mate. Basically, I rule.
On their knees. You do rule. A lot of great callbacks there. You bad, bad boy.
We should never have come here.
Yeah.
Please get the doctor off this ship.
Wow, she's stunning. That hair though, man. Incredible. Glorious.
This creature, this poor, trapped, terrified.
It's being forced to
It's
just.
not infesting you. It's not invading. It's what you have instead of an engine. And this place down here is where you hurt it, where you torture it, day after day, just to keep it moving.
Hawthorne's like, oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, it was an antique, so.
Yeah, an antique made by craftsmen over 200 years ago and perfectly sculpted to your face.
Yeah, so.
They slowed your body clock, all right, but you're not 50, nearer 300.
Oh, it's 10 years.
So she keeps
I've been
forgetting.
on this throne 10 years.
10 years. The same 10 years over and over again. Always leading you here.
And then she forgets. Right? So it's this cycle.
The creature you were looking at is called a star whale.
Whoa.
Once there were millions of them. They lived in the depth of space and,
Now is this the only one left?
to legend, this one, as far as we are aware,
Yeah, it's the last one.
is the last of its kind.
Yeah, so camera goes to the doctor.
Because you knew if we stayed here, I'd be faced with an impossible choice. Humanity or the alien. You took it upon yourself to save me from that. That was wrong. You don't ever decide what I need to know.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't care. When I'm done here, you're going home.
Oh boy.
One mistake. I don't even remember doing it. Doctor!
Yeah, I know. You're only human. The ship will still fly, but the whale won't feel it.
That would be like killing it.
Look, 3 options. 1, I let the star whale continue in unendurable agony for hundreds more years. 2,
Nope.
I kill everyone on this ship. 3,
Nope.
I murder a beautiful, innocent creature as painlessly as I can. And then I find a new name, because I won't be the doctor anymore.
There must be something we can do some other way.
Nobody talk to me. Nobody.
Human has anything to say to me today?
Whoa. Oh. A bit of friction really early on.
Sorry, Your Majesty. Gonna need a hand.
Wait, no! No!
Whoa.
Yeah, well, you've stopped torturing the pilot. Gotta help.
He's still here.
It's choosing the.
I don't understand.
You didn't have to trap it or torture it. That was all just you. It came because it couldn't stand to watch your children.
Yeah, it
die.
came for the children, yeah.
What if you were really old and really kind and alone? Your whole race dead, no future. What couldn't you do then? If you were that old and that kind, and the very last of your kind, you couldn't just stand there and watch children cry.
Yeah, yeah. Nicely done, Amy Pond.
Amy, you could have killed everyone on this ship.
You could have killed a star whale.
And you saved it.
Amazing, though, don't you think?
This is a good
Star
team. Good team.
All that pain and misery. And loneliness.
Yeah. Both of them know about that.
Very old and very kind and the very, very last. Sound a bit familiar?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ah. That's sweet. This is a good team. I like it. I like it.
Big day tomorrow.
Sorry, what?
Well, it's always a big day tomorrow. We've got a time machine. I skipped the little one.
Yeah, she's got to
You
get
know what I
back.
said about getting back for tomorrow morning? Have you ever run away from something because you were scared?
Ah.
Or not ready? Or just because
Cold
you
feet.
Once. A long time ago.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh boy. Oh, the reaction.
Winston Churchill for you.
Churchill. Oh god.
Hey, what's up?
Tricky situation, Doctor. Potentially very dangerous. Think I'm going to...
Don't worry about
Whoa.
anything, Prime Minister. We're on our way.
The return of Daleks. Or a Dalek.
This dream must end, this world must know. We all depend on the beast below.
Great setup for the last for the next episode. Whoa. The crack. Okay, the first outing of the new Doctor companion pair, and I've got to say, as I mentioned in the conclusion of that reaction, yes, I like it. This is a good duo. This is a good pair, and I could see this being a solid pair from this point on, right? There's enough there in this episode to show us that, okay, yeah, there's a great dynamic at play here. Amy Pond and this Doctor, Matt Smith's Doctor, who I really like. I've seen him twice now, and yeah, of course, Tennant's always in my mind, always thinking about Tennant. But Matt Smith has certainly eased that transition, hasn't he? Because of his fantastic take on the Doctor so far. I mean, there's still some elements of Tennant's Doctor there, right? And of course, it makes sense, right? It is a regeneration, and it is the same being, right? Though of course he looks a bit different physically. So, but that being said, there's more than enough of Matt Smith's own take on this. There was already enough of that in the last episode as well, right? In the 11th hour. But yeah, Matt Smith, more of that manic energy, that, delightful nature, right? A bit goofy. He's got this childlike mannerism about him, right? Enthusiasm about him. But of course, really early on, and only second episode into his run, essentially, second episode proper, because I did see him in The End of Time Part 2. Quick glimpse. I don't know. I don't think that really counts though, right? I mean, it does, but you know what I mean. Second episode proper of him being just the Doctor himself. You see that really early on, just in episode 2, they've already shown, or Moffat has made the choice to already show his fury, right? The Doctor's fury, right? He gets quite angry here. And, you could even argue that maybe he got so angry there that he was maybe even blinded by that anger. And he almost made a pretty big mistake at that point in time. And, before I go any further, his anger is understandable, right? Even though it kind of blinded him a bit, I think maybe, I would love to get your thoughts on that. And, it turns out that it was actually Amy who gets a bit of redemption, right? Because, yeah, she does end up making a mistake, right? It shows us that she is impulsive, right? And she is prone to mistakes, yet she is also intuitive, right? Certainly. And she was, again, she got the redemption at the end. She saw the emotional wisdom that the Doctor could not see at that moment in time, as he was blinded by that rage, right? And once again, I think it is understandable. This is the Doctor, right? Of course he's going to be angry about this, right? This innocent organism being treated in this manner. And then of course, a lot of commentary in this episode as well. A lot of, metaphors, turning a blind eye towards things, as long as, it kind of keeps things going. The Starship UK, built on a horrific secret, built on the back of the subjugation of this innocent organism, right? So of course, the Doctor is going to get angry about this. And, that, how about the acting there, right, by Matt Smith? I love that shift, really love that shift, and good signs, really good signs really early on here. And the fact that he's already been established as this, goofy, manic, full of energy individual, right? This, I think this moment of him actually getting angry, the fury of the Doctor, things get a bit dark. But, again, him getting angry about something that he's completely against, doesn't automatically mean that it's getting dark, right? I know I kind of just said it myself, but yeah, I had to catch myself there. Just because he got angry about something doesn't mean, it's dark. Though of course, it certainly had an impact, because, really early on, you see someone who's essentially thought of this individual, her imaginary friend, all her life, at least half her life, right? Imagine her being in that position, knowing that she's disappointed him so early on. She must be crushed inside in those moments. And I thought, so, some of the physical acting by Karen Gillan was really on point in that moment, right? And the Doctor didn't hold back, right? And you can see maybe some of those residual feelings from Tennant's run. He did just recently regenerate, and he was by himself for a long time, right? Of course, by the end of this episode, you see there's the actual visual indicator that, yes, he's accepted this new companion completely, right? And I thought it was a beautiful moment, the hug, gotcha, and then he repeats it back, gotcha, right? Yes, she's got his back, and now he has someone else. And once again, he has someone in his life, someone he needs, a companion he certainly needs. Goes back to Donna Noble, right? He needs someone to be there for him, right? At times. And yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to this companion Doctor duo. And I actually did find it kind of refreshing that there was friction there, that the Doctor was able to get angry with a new companion this early on. Though, of course, this episode kind of felt like a testing episode, didn't it? You see at the moment they land on the Starship UK, he puts her to the test, right? He wants to see how she's going to handle the situation, right? He's imploring her to be more in tune with her detective side, right? So in that sense, it also kind of felt like a jumping on point again. After 11th hour, this also felt like a jumping on point. You see a lot of the rules are kind of established again or reestablished again. A lot of the Doctor's personality and the things he does are established again, and the things he's against are established again. In that sense, you could see this also being a great jumping on point, right? You could tell there's a distinct attempt made here to make it a jumping on point as well, to be as accessible as possible for new people that are jumping into Doctor Who just now. And I'm sure plenty of people started with this episode as well, right? In addition to the 11th hour, or maybe they jumped on in the 11th hour, and then this episode was also kind of utilized to kind of get some of the rules out there, reestablish some of these things, right? A bit of exposition again. And you see Amy Pond is quite inquisitive. She wants to know more about the Doctor as well, right? So I think that's going to continue, isn't it? Again, she's been thinking of this individual for so long, right? So long, 14 years, right? So yeah, she's probably full of questions that she's going to ask throughout these episodes, throughout this run. And I love that opening as well. Amy just floating out there in space, and of course her glorious red hair is firmly on display there. I love that shot. It was a great opening. It really was a great opening. And this kind of continued that storybook or fairy tale type feeling, didn't it? Or it certainly had a bit of that in this episode. That opening, especially that narration as well. My imaginary friend came back, and the poems, right? Of course, that poem right at the end by Amy Pond, Amelia Jessica Pond, and then of course, the crack is shown once again. So it's clear that this is going to become the reoccurring background, larger things at play in the grand scheme of things, type storyline or element of this story. Now, I'm not sure how long it's going to go for. Maybe by the end of the season, right? Usually they are for the run of that season or that series, right? So in this case, series 5. But that is associated with Amy Pond, right? Amelia, again, firmly established in episode 1, the crack in her room. So yeah, let's see. It's the setup is there. Of course, it's a big deal, and to me, it was really clear in episode 1 that there's something going on here. And it's Amy herself. There is something going on there, right? So yeah, let's see how many more times this crack shows up. Let's see how this plays out. The motif is there as well. That really ominous music that kind of kicks in anytime the crack is mentioned or shown as a visual indicator in this episode at the end there. A crack in the skin of the world, I believe. And as you know by now, I really enjoy the dystopian future setting, right? And this had a great take on that as well. I thought it had a great take. You see that it was actually going for that analog future, similar to Blade Runner, right? A lot of the television screens and just the simplistic nature of those buttons, right? So yeah, I'm certainly a big fan of that. Take on the future. Blade Runner is my all-time favorite film, for those who don't know. So yeah, I saw a bit of inspiration there. Of course, there's some references to Star Wars in there. But also this episode, I can't say it was like the perfect episode. There's some problems there. It felt like there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's a lot of ideas there for this amount of time, right? Some are kind of set up and then kind of just tossed aside, right? Never really touched upon again. Some of the things are really strange, like if you really look at it, they're feeding kids that are not doing all that great at school to this beast, right? To the beast below. I mean, that in itself is kind of really harsh and strange, and then the fact that they just continue doing it even though they know that this organism is not going to eat children, right? It's established that it doesn't harm children because, of course, that's the connection here. And that was a connection that Amy kind of made with the Doctor himself. You know, that whole notion of this really kind and old and last of his kind organism out here looking out for people, right? But I feel like the repetition of that idea by Amy Pond kind of made it a bit too on the nose, right? Once was, you know, I think it was great. You know, it really was. That analogy was really quite good. But, you know, repeating it almost, I think 3 times essentially, right? They really get Amy to repeat it over and over. I mean, I think that choice, I mean, I'm not saying it's Karen Gillan's fault. She's just the actor, right? Who's given the script. But I feel like, you know, that idea didn't need to be repeated that many times. You know, it felt like it was a bit on the nose by the 3rd time. You know, maybe Moffat could have trusted the audience a bit more than that. But, you know, in that sense, like I mentioned, there's a lot of commentary here, perhaps even on the educational system, right? In Britain or in UK or in England. Yeah, certainly a bit of commentary there about that. You know, Doctor Who is certainly a British show, right? A British story. So a lot of times there's references to things that I can tell there are references, but, you know, I might not be completely in on it. But in that sense, of course, a lot of you are from the UK, and it's great to get that perspective, right? And put some of this commentary, or make sense of some of this commentary for me. Again, you know, to me, it becomes really clear that a lot of this is commentary on, you know, certain topics that are specific to, you know, that region. But then, you know, sometimes I don't completely grasp the point that's being made, only because, you know, I'm not from the area. Right, I just happen to be from North America, from Canada. So, you know, some of the commentary, I understand that it's a commentary on a topic that might be, you know, a hot topic at the time in that region. But, you know, sometimes I don't completely grasp the point it's trying to make. Again, you guys are here for that, and you know, I'm really thankful for that. But yeah, I felt like, you know, it was certainly a commentary on the educational system or the school system, maybe being really harsh. And of course, you know, the commentary on the government is kind of hard to miss, right? It's a major aspect of this episode. Though, of course, like I mentioned earlier, there are elements that kind of just get sidelined after, like in the second half of the episode, right? Of course, there's a lot of funny name drops here and there. You know, Scotland wanted their own ship, so I get that. I understood that reference. And then they, you know, name dropped another area. Maybe this one might not be the best for the people actually from that area because, you know, I can't remember the name, but it started with L. Lancashire, was it? You know, they use that area, or, you know, Matt Smith or the Doctor kind of, you know, name drop that area as the smelly area because the smelly area was the mouth, right? So yeah, I'm sure people from that area might not be too happy about that, but, you know, it's all fun and games, right? It's all jokes. But yeah, you know, let me circle back to Amy Pond, because again, it was the first proper outing for the companion as well, right? And of course, in true Doctor Who fashion, they kind of split up and they kind of meet up again. So she's on her own. And of course, you know, she kind of failed the test really early on, as she, you know, she made that choice to, you know, forget and not share that information. And it also kind of felt like maybe he was disappointed in himself, right? For thinking that maybe he's made this choice, or how could he possibly make this choice as a companion? Someone who could do something like this, someone who's capable of this kind of oversight or mistake. But of course, you know, I'm not trying to be harsh on Amy, but I'm just trying to take an angle here. Maybe the Doctor was just so down in that moment, right? This early on, you know, I just brought this person on and they've already done this to me, or they've done this. But also, you know, it's a matter of perspective or opinion as well. You know, maybe some of you might think he was too harsh on her. So, you know, you'll have to let me know in the comments your thoughts on it. Yeah, it was harsh. It was certainly, you know, really right there in her face. You know, there was no, you know, it didn't have any of that, oh, this, you know, they kind of just met, so he's going to hold back and maybe be a bit nicer about it. No, the moment that happened, like, he just let it all out, right? And again, you know, like I mentioned, Amy must have been crushed in that moment to let down this figure, this hero figure in her mind, right? This friend, her best friend in her mind, essentially, for the longest time. But yeah, you know, again, she gets her redemption moment, and, you know, again, she is intuitive. She's got qualities that the Doctor also understands and realizes, right? Again, that embrace at the end, really kind of making it official. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this side of Amy kind of, you know, comes up again at some point, right? Though, you know, I must say, part of me also kind of felt like maybe it's so early on in the series. It's only episode 2. And, you know, she seems to have such an understanding of the Doctor. Though, of course, you know, on the opposite end of that, you can argue that she's been thinking about this individual for a long, long part of her life, right? She did have that, you know, really amazing childhood experience, right? She has an understanding of his personality and his character just from that moment as well, right? But I felt like maybe it might have been a bit too early for her to have this level of understanding about the Doctor to a point that she felt comfortable making a choice on his behalf almost, right? Holding back information from him. Maybe this episode could have fit a bit better a bit later on, you know, once they've actually had a lot of time together, you know, at least a few outings together. Though, you know, the one thing I really like here that also kind of opposes this point I made is the fact that, you know, she has been thinking about this individual for a long time. So she's even more enthusiastic about learning more about him, and she immediately takes anything he gives her about himself, right? In terms of information, she really latches onto it. She remembered all of it, right? The last of his kind, and, you know, the kind soul. And of course, I've got to say, I really enjoyed Karen Gillan's infectious energy in this, right? That, you know, inquisitive nature of a companion is certainly there. And also, I did check out that special, that little mini episode that was on the Blu-ray right before this. You could tell that, you know, at the conclusion of that, as he pushes her out, you know, it kind of begins right here. So I'm guessing maybe that was cut, right? I'm guessing maybe that's a deleted scene. Maybe they made the choice to, you know, not have that as the opening. I don't know. You'll have to let me know. But yeah, I thought it was, again, it felt like, you know, it is for a lot of new people, right? It had a lot of exposition. It explained a lot of the elements of the TARDIS, right? Again, you know, Amy Pond's inquisitive mind on display as she has so many questions. This is a great back and forth about the Doctor's appearance. All right. So yeah, you know, I thought it was a great little episode, or not episode, great little deleted scene or mini episode. But I like that, you know, the Doctor and the companion had that moment to themselves, right? Just getting to know each other, right? Just having fun, just this back and forth, really enjoyable back and forth. So, you know, I like that moment. Just them two, you know, not getting in any trouble or anything, not some kind of adventure or anything. Just them in the TARDIS, just hanging out. Okay, so I think that's about it for this one. You know, that glimpse of the Doctor's anger, or Matt Smith's Doctor's anger there, the fury of the Doctor, yeah, that was certainly intriguing. That was certainly interesting. So, you know, let's see how that develops, or, you know, let's see the next time I get to see that side of the Doctor again, and I'm sure I'm going to see it again, but I do want to see that side of him again. I'm not gonna lie. You know, there's that really great line of dialogue: no human has anything to say to me for the rest of the day, or no human has anything to say to me now, right? Whoa. Yeah, the delivery of that was just fantastic, I thought. And again, you know, it must have been really heartbreaking for Amy to be in that position, to make him that angry, right? Given the respect she has for him and how much she has, you know, longed for this, right? She gets to live out her fantasies, essentially, right? Traveling with this imaginary friend that everyone else kind of convinced her was an imaginary friend, but here she is traveling, right? Remember all that time ago? I mean, it's only been one episode, but like in terms of her aging up as a child, you know, she made that request, can I come? Right? So it's beautiful. It's actually really nice to see her in the TARDIS side by side with this wonderful friend she made all that time ago, right? You know, this immediately makes me want to go back to the 11th hour. I really enjoyed that first half of the episode, or the opening of the episode, as young Amelia Pond and the Doctor meet. Oh, just lovely stuff. It really is. But yeah, you know, I'm ready for more. And of course, you know, they've set up the next episode, Churchill and Daleks. That is not something I thought I would ever see together on screen, but here it is. I'm about to see the Daleks again. You know, of course, it was surprising to see the Dalek shadow come up. But, you know, I can't say that I've been, you know, longing for, you know, another Dalek story. Though, of course, I'm sure it'll be interesting. You know, given that pairing, that era and the Daleks showing up there. And of course, it's that, you know, recognizable Doctor Who formula, right? Here in episode 2, he's taken her to the future. Now in episode 3, they're going to the past, right? So I've seen that a couple of times now, be it through Tennant or Eccleston. Okay, that's about it for this one. If you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts, especially on some of the, you know, references and commentary that is specific to that region, the UK or, you know, England, or, you know, any of the other things that are mentioned here that might be specific to that region, right? I'm always open to, you know, learning more or understanding a reference much better. Again, I am in North America, in Canada to be specific. So some of the, you know, some of these references sometimes could go right over my head because, again, I'm not from the area, right? But yeah, if you're interested in full length or maybe even early access to the next episode right now, consider checking out the Patreon page. The link is in the description, in the pinned comment. Right then, thank you for joining me for this one, and I hope to see you again soon for the next one. So until then, take it easy.